Nigerians have spoken that President Buhari maintains and retains his momentum.
Presidency speaks on results of recent by-elections. New initiative for small traders as federal government launches trader money. Calm returns to Maiduguri airport after Trump's riotous behavior causes scare.
It's far and different from the normal. Wow!
Correspondent on special assignment brings us the other side of the beleaguered Borno state. Good evening, a warm welcome to NTA Network News. I am Sheung Olagunju, and we take off with politics. The presidency has described the performance of the All Progressives Congress in the just concluded by-elections in 3 states as a good omen for the Buhari-Osinbajo ticket in the coming 2019 elections. At a joint press briefing, senior special assistants to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu and Laolu Akande, say the outcome of the elections was an indication of the belief and confidence the people of the country have in the Buhari administration and the APC as the only party that can bring an end to corruption and poverty in the land. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
The performance of the All Progressives Congress in the by-elections conducted in Bauchi, Katsina, Kogi and Cross River states was described by Garba Shehu as fabulous. As he says, each of the election victories is epic in nature. He speaks of lessons to be taken from the victories that the party has been recording.
It's a clear statement by Nigerians that Nigerians have spoken that President Buhari maintains and retains his momentum. Nigerians, by this statement, are also saying that they no longer have time for politics of insult and diversion and the monkey they walk, baboon they chop politics of PDP.
It calls for the full cooperation of the National Assembly with the executive in order to deliver the dividend of democracy to the people of the country.
And I think that it is appropriate at this time then we appeal to the National Assembly to be on the same page with President Muhammadu Buhari administration.
Laolu Akande, Senior Special Assistant to the President in the Office of the Vice President, also comments on free interest loans to market women in the country.
Already we have enumerated about 500,000 of such petty traders, and the way to do it is that there are enumeration agents that will be going to the major markets across the country. We are starting with Lagos, Kano, and Abia.
While thanking the media on the various roles played, the senior special assistants appealed for more concentration on positive aspects of elections rather than the negative aspects. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress in Gombe State has continued with its mobilization in support of President Muhammadu Buhari as it braces to take over from the PDP in the state. A crowd of supporters gathered during the inauguration of a joint campaign office for the president and one of the governorship aspirants in the state. Zara Umar Adamu has the report.
An unprecedented crowd of APC supporters defied the heavy downpour to celebrate the commissioning of the Yahaya Buhari campaign office, reiterating their unflinching support to the party in the coming elections. The two-time governorship candidate, under the platform of the then CPC and APC, Yahaya, also donated 15 Peugeot 406 cars and 114 motorcycles to the party. He explained that the exemplary leadership of the APC, especially at the national level, is enough for President Buhari to win the heart of every well-meaning Nigerian.
In Gombe State, 100% of the people are solidly behind the APC.
Inwayahaya, who took a rally round the state capital to solicit support for Buhari and APC, urged aspiring APC members to remain united before and after all primaries. Zara Umar Adam, NTA News.
Still on politics, member representing Buhari Amak constituency, Zephaniah Bitrus Gisalo, has appealed to FCT residents to support the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in its efforts to put Nigeria on the path of growth and prosperity. He stated this during a tour of the 6 area councils aimed at sensitizing the people to support APC to retain power come 2019. Aisha Obali reports.
The resident of FCT welcomed the member with open arms. The purpose of the visit is to drum up support for President Muhammadu Buhari and APC come 2019, while creating an avenue for empowerment. It was also a purpose-driven venture to educate the electorate and residents on their civic rights.
I want all of them to come out so that we can vote the candidate of our choice. That is the essence of doing this program. And I'm also urging them to vote our president, Muhammadu Buhari.
The visit took the member around the 6 area councils, including Amak, Buhari, Kwali, Abaji, Kuje, and Gwagwalada. While there, Gisale urged the people to get their PVC in order for the APC to remain the ruling party in 2019. Some of the beneficiaries say they will rally and support Gisalo and ensure he wins the FCT senatorial seat in 2019.
At least from what he has done, nobody has ever remembered women like this, in terms of this, like this.
I'm advising them to work harder and keep firm and be campaigning for APC for 2019, a good result.
The Honorable Members Empowerment Program was concluded in Gwagwalada Area Council on the 3rd day, and among working materials distributed were automobiles, bikes, grinding and sewing machines, clothes, as well as cash. In Abuja, Aisha Obali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the lingering crisis in the Benue State House of Assembly has taken another dimension as a High Court sitting in Makurdi has restrained the new Speaker, Titus Uba, and 4 others from parading themselves as principal officers. At the commencement of hearing, counsel to the plaintiffs, Maman Mike Usman, SAN, filed an application urging the court to discountenance the action which led to the election of the defendants as principal officers as illegal and a violation of the Standing House rules. He further argued that only the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker has a locus standi to reconvene the sitting of the House. He said the actions taken by the 22 lawmakers was null and void. Justice Teresa Egoche agreed with the submission of the Plaintiffs' Counsel and granted the order, noting that all parties should restrain from parading themselves as principal officers pending the determination of the substantive suit. The matter has been fixed for Friday this week for hearing. And the recent upheaval on the political terrain have had an impact on activities in the capital market, with a decline in equities transactions and stocks dropping to a 9-month low. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, however, pointed out that other critical factors have contributed to the slump in activities. Dennis Adegunloye reports.
The capital markets, according to experts, did creditably well in 2017 with a performance level of 42%. And this was sustained in the early part of 2018. However, as was seen in 2014, the guests noted that the political intrigues witnessed in recent weeks have had their consequences on investor confidence.
Everybody wants to see what is going to happen to the economy in terms of the performances of the economy and the company. So quite a number of them pull out in the last few months, and that affected a lot of things. Of course, when foreigners pull out, some investors domestically may also want to hold on.
As a rational investor, especially these foreign investors, they are highly investment savvy, and because this is a market that's information sensitive, they want to sit on the fence and watch, how the situation plays out.
They have emphasized that the heightened political activities are not the sole reasons for the slump in the capital markets.
The reality is that a lot of foreign portfolio investors coming to this country will ordinarily leverage or arbitrage. That means they will borrow from their local economies at very low rate and come to emerging markets and get higher returns.
We have political tension, we have insecurity situation, all conspiring to scare away investors. And just as Riley pointed out, the local investors, retail investors, okay, even the domestic, including institutional ones, okay, tend to follow the head.
They equally listed free and transparent elections and political processes as factors that will sustain investor confidence in the country. And ahead of the forthcoming general elections, politicians are urged to include as part of their manifestos concrete economic programs that will benefit Nigerians and not be truncated by electioneering activities. Dennis at Digunloy, NTA News.
The federal government of Nigeria, through its Information and Culture Ministry, has signed a protocol of implementation on education and cultural cooperation with China. The Nigerian delegation was led by the permanent secretary in the ministry, Grace Isugepe, who stood in for the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. Anthony Forson reports.
How are you doing? Yes.
Leading the Form 1 delegation, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Deaconess Grace Isugepe, met with officials of the Chinese Ministry of Culture and Tourism. The Chinese Deputy Minister, Lin Jingzhu, discussed areas of strengthening bilateral cooperation between both countries. The meeting was followed by the signing of the protocol.
Thank you. Congratulations. How are you doing? Good.
Still in Beijing, China, the minister's delegation made an official visit to the corporate headquarters of StarTimes, where the delegation had an interactive session with the chairman of StarTimes, Xin Zingpang. Among the issues that were discussed included the 10,000 satellite television villages, capacity building for Nigeria, among others. Members of the delegation have since returned to Nigeria. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Youth should seek to participate in politics and policy formulation of the government. These were the submissions of speakers at a youth symposium convened by Helpline Foundation for the Needy to commemorate the 2018 International Youth Day in Abuja. Patricia Philip Bidai has the report.
Speakers at the event say good education, provisions of jobs and employment, service and sacrifice to fatherland in the spirit of true patriotism should be the hearts of the Nigerian youths.
Get ready to run, build yourself, become that person that has solutions to the problems, understand the history.
You as a Nigerian, your responsibility is not for yourself and your family, but for everybody else. Responsibility.
The youth have a lot of energy, and they must exercise this energy. We must engage them constructively.
Let them engage to believe, to become patriotic and sincere.
They should not be discouraged. The future is bright, and this is the time for us to take over as the youth of this country.
The convener and president of Helpline Foundation for the Needy, Juma Amedu, urged youths to take advantage of the Not Too Young to Run bill and vie for political positions.
The electioneering campaign is so expensive for our youth to participate. So the various political parties should see how they can review the cost of picking participation form.
Participants at the symposium also say youths need to be gainfully involved in the political processes to enable them participate actively.
All the youths come together, believe in one goal, and that goal is to make Nigeria progressive and united.
That we need to have an opportunity that being given to the youth to champion their own affair by themselves.
Safe spaces for the youth was the theme for the symposium, with a focus on creating and utilizing safe spaces for the youth towards the forthcoming general elections. Patricia Philip Wedai, NTA News.
Our first break beckons now. The news continues after the timeout. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us on NTA Network News, and we kick off this segment with security. The Air Task Force of Operation Diram Mikia has notched up another series of successful degrading of bandits in Subobo Forest, Birni Magaji, and Rugu Forest in Zamfara State. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, indicates that Air interdiction and armed reconnaissance missions were conducted following discovery of a bandit hideout within the forest. Consequently, the Air Task Force dispatched a combat aircraft for armed reconnaissance to neutralize the armed bandits' hideouts. Operation Diram Mikia, which commenced on 31st July 2018, is an intensive air operation aimed at locating and neutralizing armed banditry, cattle rustling and other criminal activities in the northwestern part of the country. Still on security, normalcy has been restored at the Maiduguri International Airport following a riotous reaction by troops during a redeployment exercise in Maiduguri metropolis to reinvigorate the security architecture of the city. A statement by the Deputy Director, Public Relations, Theatre Command Operation Lafia Dole, Colonel Onyeman Wachuku, says the troops had misunderstood the essence of the redeployment and assumed it was going to affect their rotation from the theatre of operation, which gave rise to the agitation and subsequent firing into the air. The statement asked that the redeployment became imperative after a recent assessment of the security situation by the theatre command. It appeals to the public to remain calm and go about normal activities as the situation has been put under firm control with stringent measures put in place to forestall a recurrence. Now, have you ever imagined that there are good things in Borno State beyond the stories of insecurity? Well, this report by Onyinaya Kalu Oka, who is just back from Borno, would expose the other side of the state that is captivating and alluring.
After much discouragement from relations and friends, the crew stubbornly hit the road to Maiduguri in Borno State. However, the journey turned out to be one of the most interesting trips, in fact an eye-opener, viewing the vast landscape and beautiful scenery. After about 12 hours pleasant drive, the warm weather of Maiduguri and the friendly receptive people was welcoming.
Killings, kidnapping, bomb blasts are some of the negative reports that are being used to describe Maiduguri on a daily basis. But far from it, as Maiduguri is bubbling, life is going on smoothly and activities are moving on. Well, this is far and different from the normal. Wow!
These excited video bombers are final year students of government secondary school along Monday Market, Maiduguri, who just finished their last examination. Among them are those from the north, east, west and south of the country.
You just finished your final exam? Yes. So how was it? Yeah.
Life in Maiduguri town is peaceful as people go about their businesses. Efforts of the government in securing the state, restoring peace and order are glaring as several destroyed structures are being reconstructed.
And you people, you came here, you see by yourself, this Shauri knows by the time of Boko Haram, nobody will come to that area and go back without, or nobody will survive to live at this area. By the grace of God of the coming, this administration, a lot of progress.
We had a very terrible life for the past some years now. But thank God you have come to Maiduguri now, you have seen everything, life is moving normal. We are at peace.
Away from the city center to communities affected by the insurgency, some of the internally displaced persons have returned and picking up their lives with the support of the government.
The military there is up to the task. People can go to Dikwa freely and come back.
In Nigerian's local palace, it is believed that a community without an Igbo man is not safe and welcoming. Here is one of the popular spare parts trading section, known as Bank of the North Street. It is dominated by Igbo traders. 50-year-old Onyebuchi Ekbo from Abia State has lived in Maiduguri for more than 30 years. He understands Kanuri, but does not speak.
I regard this place more than no matter person will not deny a mother soup, and person will not deny a mother tongues. But what will benefit here? I thank God for that.
Every stay in Maiduguri was worth it and captivating. The journey back to Abuja filled with memorable scenes that keep playing back on my mind. Onyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Sharing news from Borno there, and to infrastructure development now, the Alake of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Gbadebo, has expressed satisfaction with Ogun State government's continuous efforts in infrastructural development. Oba Gbadebo gave the government thumbs up when he joined the state governor Ibikunle Amusun on inspection of some ongoing projects in Abeokuta. Lekan Agbonde has the details.
Despite the fact the present administration in Ogun State under the leadership of Governor Ibikunle Amusun is winding down, the tempo of developmental projects are rather on the rise. Alake of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Gbadebo, was amazed over what he saw while on inspection along with the governor, the Abeokuta city center at Okelewo, the judicial complex along Kobakpe Road, the railway project, and a 250-bed mega hospital in Okemosa.
Now we've seen that we have a very big judiciary complex, so many courts and chambers and what have you. And we believe that the future of Ogun State as the most industrialized state in this country is very bright.
Governor Amusun noted that his administration will not renege on its promise to work till the last days. In Abeokuta, Lekan Agbonde, NTANewsNow.
Wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, has been conferred with an honorary doctorate degree of public administration by the Sun Moon University, Asansi, in the Republic of Korea. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir has the details.
At the entrance of the administrative building of Sun Moon University, lined up the school dons headed by the president, Professor Sunjo Huang, who received the wife of the president and ushered her inside for the commencement of the program. Mrs. Buhari was given a rousy welcome while she was introduced by the dean of the graduate school, Professor Min Sujiang, who later read her recitation. While decorating her, the president of the school described the activities and the achievement of Future Assured program as unprecedented in transforming the lives of vulnerable people.
This is the first time a Nigerian is being conferred with an honorary doctorate degree by Sun Moon University, and the officials of the university confirmed that the humanitarian activities of the wife of the president, especially in improving the lives of women and children, deserves the honor, and they urged her to sustain the tempo, especially in promoting global peace and development.
Her Excellency has made great efforts to improve the health and welfare of women and children through the Future Assured program. And she has contributed to the development of human rights and education for women and children.
Dr. Aisha Buhari explained that to whom much is given, much is expected. As such, the award will serve as a morale booster in changing the lives of women and children, hoping that the gesture will open more windows of opportunities in strengthening the bilateral relations between Nigeria and the Republic of Korea, especially in the field of education.
On my part, let me assure you that this honor will serve as a motivation to broaden my humanitarian activities and also to encourage women and young generation to imbibe the culture of rendering assistance to the needy. At this note, I wish to acknowledge the support and contribution of all those that made it possible for my achievements that resulted to this recognition.
Mrs. Buhari was conducted around the school prominent sites such as library and museum to get familiar with the school premises. In Asansi, Republic of Korea, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
We head to Lagos now, where Hingino has the next set of reports. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Sheung, for joining us in Lagos. The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, is requesting the National Assembly to repeal and reenact the NDIC Act 2017 to grant the corporate sole liquidation rights on financial institutions and other contentious issues being raised by the Apex Bank. This, the NDIC believes, will further strengthen its supervisory role in ensuring protection of bank deposits and monetary policy stability in the banking sector. This was the focus of a joint retreat for members of the House Committee on Insurance and Actuarial Matters and the NDIC in Lagos. Amakao reports.
The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation has the statutory role of protecting depositors from instability and irregularities that often occur in the banking sector. Over the years, the roles played by the NDIC and the Central Bank of Nigeria have not been clearly defined. Insurance and Actuarial Matters and executives of the NDIC in this joint retreat agree that the corporation can effectively achieve its core mandate with the appropriate laws in place. Chairman of the committee, Femi Fakeye, is calling for a review of the NDIC Act of 2017, which has passed third reading.
Some other issues have come up, which we're here to take a look at, so that at the point of harmonization with the Senate, then both the House and the Senate can flow together, and we have the same single bill at the very end that will serve the purpose of everybody and all the stakeholders in Nigeria.
The Managing Director, Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, Umaru Ibrahim, is demanding that adjustments be made for the Act to contain a robust definition of what constitutes a deposit, among other issues.
The second issue has to do with the to ensure that NDIC is the sole liquidator of licensed deposit-taking institutions. The third has to do with what we refer as double taxation. So it's so as to avoid a situation whereby NDIC is doubly taxed.
The House Committee on Insurance and Actuarial Matters also reassures the NDIC that the proposed amendments will be made and signed into law before the end of the 8th Assembly. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Nigerian women have been urged to contest for elective political offices in order to bring the dividends of democracy closer to the people. The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Senator Aisha Al-Hassan, made the call at an annual women's conference in Lagos. Nusa Usula reports.
4 days, delegates at the annual event, which assembled stakeholders in the sector, had been sharing knowledge and experiences with the aim of proffering solutions to some of the issues adversely affecting women and girls in the country. The minister outlined some of the federal government's programs aimed at improving the lot of women and girls, including the National Women Empowerment Fund, Conditional Cash Transfer, Government Enterprise and Economic Program, said plans were on the way to reach more women at the grassroots.
Interventions on food and security, economic growth, and human capital development can only yield positive and sustainable results when the essential building blocks like peace and security are put in place.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Tunji Bello, urged women to take a common stand against sexual and gender-based violence by canvassing a review of relevant laws to provide stiffer punishment for offenders given the serious threat the act poses to the safety and security of women and girls.
We believe that empowering the informal sector, in which women constitute the majority, will facilitate the process of socio-economic inclusion.
Lagos State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Lola Akonde, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Abiola Liadi, noted that the various technical sessions held by delegates had generated many ideas and perspectives to women and social development. In Lagos, Nusa Usula, NTA News.
The need to engage Nigerian youth actively to make positive contributions to nation building has been re-echoed. Various speakers made this known at an event organized by United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO NGO, Youth Orientation for Development, to mark the International Youth Day celebration in Lagos.
A friend of mine, because I was complaining of not able to sleep when I came back from night vigil, a church program, and she asked me to get a tablet called Tramadol. I had to complain to my aunt that I'm feeling headache, so she asked me that what actually caused the headache. Then I told her that I used a drug called Tramadol, so she was mad at me.
Just like 18-year-old Patricia Okocha, many youths have been lured into drug abuse through peer influence. Unlike Patricia, who quickly knew that something was not just right with the drug she took, which helped retrace her steps, some youths may not be as lucky. To adequately equip Nigerian youths against falling victims of such, UNESCO, in collaboration with one of its offshoots, Youth Orientation for Development, localized this year's theme, Safe Spaces for Youth, to providing safe drug-free space for our youth.
We are taking this program to the schools because most of our schools, secondary schools, kids there. A whole lot of people are lured into drugs without being told the dangers.
There is no way we can have a safe space for our youths if they continue to indulge in drugs.
With constant awareness like this, many youths like Patricia will be saved the pain of drug abuse. You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this timeout. Please stay with us.
You're watching the Network News, and we kick off with business on this segment. In view of problems associated with access to credit, 2 million Nigerians are to get collateral-free loans in a microcredit facility for petty traders. This and more with Muplang Dakok on Business News.
Hello and welcome. Nigeria's exposure to commercial loans has risen by 486.67 to 8.8 billion naira in the last 3 years. Data from the Debt Management Office shows that the loans now make up 39.87% of the nation's external debt portfolio. The increase in commercial loans reflects federal government's increasing bonds issuance in the international capital market. Still talking loans, 2 million Nigerians are to get collateral-free loans in the federal government's new microcredit for petty traders in what is tagged trader money. Amina Nojem in this report captures the essence of trader money.
Access to credit has been a perennial challenge to many micro, small and medium enterprises. Financial institutions in the country who gave out credit avail with a string of demands and in many cases intending beneficiaries fail to meet up. It is for this reason that government is determined to further enlarge its financial inclusion agenda and for all Nigerians regardless of social class and economic status. The Buhari administration launched a new initiative under the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program called Trader Money to empower 2 million Nigerians. The scheme was launched in Lagos and would grant a minimum of 30,000 loans in each state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The 2 million mark is expected to be attained on or before the end of this year, and petty traders in Lagos, Kano and Abuja are said to be the first set of beneficiaries to draw the collateral-free loans. Trader Money is designed to help petty traders expand their trade through the provision of collateral-free loans of 10,000 naira.
Nigeria's equities market continues bearish trend to close first trading day of the week in red. The NSE All-Share Index depreciated by 0.10% to close at 35,410.61 basis points. The market recorded unimproved performance. Eternal led 14 gainers as against 26 losers, topped by mutual benefits. UBA, FBNH, and Guarantee were the most active to boost market turnover. That does it on Business News at this time. I am Muplang Dakok.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, has urged heads of finance and chief accountants of the NTA zonal centers and stations to rededicate themselves to blocking revenue leakages and strengthening their books in line with global best practices. The Director General made the call in Kaduna while addressing participants at the 2018 NTA Finance Conference. Abdullahi Muhammad reports.
It has become an annual ritual for the Finance Department of the Nigerian Television Authority to come together and take stock of the operations. NTA's Director General Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, represented by the Executive Director of Marketing Abdulhamid Dembos, didn't mince word in reminding the accountants and finance officers the underlying factors behind the conference.
The government in power, headed by His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, has its mantra as change and fight against corruption. By this, it means all your actions in the course of doing your assigned duties must be tailored to this change and fighting corruption.
The Executive Director of Finance's submission was challenging.
We must embark on a journey of changing the way we think, act, and employ resources.
And also we have to key into the budget issues of the federal government.
The conference tagged safeguarding the assets of the authority, an essential tool for economic growth, afford the officers the opportunity to challenge their colleagues to key into the new realities of the international public sector accounting standards. In Kaduna, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Nigerians have been urged to take ownership of the fight against corruption in tandem with the federal government's drive to rid the country of the menace. The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu, stated this in Ibadan at a stakeholders forum. Kemi Oshi reports.
The EFCC boss, Ibrahim Magu, appreciated the support given to the agency within the short time of opening the Ibadan zonal office, while emphasizing that the agency does not engage in witch hunting, but is driven by integrity and professionalism in ensuring that the lot of every Nigerian is improved. He called for better collaboration to take the anti-corruption campaign to the grassroots.
We do not claim the monopoly of the knowledge in the fight against corruption. And mobilizing everybody to join in the fight against corruption is the best strategy in place.
Religious leaders, labor union and other stakeholders at the event described the forum as timely, especially as the electioneering period is around the corner.
This intellectual conversation, I think, is very, very necessary towards, sustaining the anti-corruption war of the present administration.
The anti-graft agency pledges commitment to an open-door policy in line with global best practices in ensuring that corruption is eradicated throughout the country. In Ibadan, Kemioshi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Population Commission says it is poised to reawaken the patriotic zeal of Nigerians to register births and deaths with a view to enhancing effective planning and policy implementation in the country. Chairman of the Commission, Ize Durehoma, recalled this at the maiden edition of the Africa Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Day in Abuja. Olajide Bello has the details.
With the theme promoting innovative universal civil registration and vital statistics system for good governance and better lives, the day is to increase public awareness on the importance of making everyone visible in Africa through a well-functioning data collection and management system. Therefore, the maiden commemoration of the 2018 African Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Day is to brainstorm on innovative ways of improving civil registration for enhanced national development.
We have commenced a first migration from the hitherto manual method to full automation of our vital registration and data coverage processes, and this definitely will guarantee an enduring complete universal coverage of the country in no distant time.
It helped to create inclusive society, protection of human rights, ensuring proper delivery of public services, and tackling inequalities.
If we have a functional CRVS, we will have data on all the population dynamics: fertility, mortality, and migration.
A 5-year strategic action plan on civil registration and vital statistics was inaugurated at the maiden commemoration in Abuja. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
We take our last break for tonight. Happenings in the world of sports after the break.
President Muhammadu Buhari in the face of the world, especially with dogged fight against corruption and developmental strides, is the thrust this week on NTA Tuesday Live. The program promises to be incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
And that's it on the Network News. I am Sheung Olagunju. Thanks for watching.